Welcome back to the channel Wisdom of Stoicism. Have you ever met someone who just drains your energy? Someone who always seems negative, manipulative, or even downright toxic? Maybe it's a coworker who constantly criticizes you, a friend who's always bringing drama, or even a family member who never respects your boundaries. Dealing with toxic people is one of life's toughest challenges. They test your patience, disturb your peace, and can even make you question your self-worth. But here's the truth. You don't have to let them control your emotions or your life. The ancient Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus faced toxic people too. But instead of getting angry or frustrated, they mastered the art of staying calm, composed, and in control. They learned how to protect their peace while still living with honor and strength. And in this video, we're going to uncover 7 clever ways to deal with toxic people, all based on Stoic wisdom that has stood the test of time. These are practical strategies that you can use every day. Whether it's handling negativity at work, dealing with manipulative friends, or setting boundaries with difficult family members, these Stoic techniques will help you stay strong, protect your peace, and rise above the drama. So, if you're tired of feeling drained by toxic people, stick around. Because by the end of this video, you'll be equipped with the mindset and tools to handle any toxic situation with calm confidence. And before we dive in, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on more powerful Stoic wisdom to help you master life's toughest challenges. Let's begin. Way number 1. Understand the nature of toxicity. Have you ever wondered why some people are just difficult? No matter how kind or patient you are, they always seem to drain your energy, twist your words, or pull you into negativity. These are toxic people. And the truth is, we all encounter them at some point, whether it's at work, in friendships, or even within our own families. But here's the catch. The Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca believe that understanding human nature is the first step in mastering how we deal with toxic people. They taught that if we can understand why someone behaves the way they do, we can protect ourselves from reacting emotionally and losing our inner peace. Now, let me tell you a quick story about Marcus Aurelius. As the Roman emperor, he wasn't just dealing with political problems. He faced toxic people every day, people who lied, cheated, and betrayed. Yet, instead of reacting with anger, Marcus reminded himself of one important truth. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. Why did he say this to himself? Because he knew that expecting people to be perfect is setting yourself up for disappointment. People act out of fear, insecurity, or selfishness. Toxic behavior isn't always about you. It's often about their internal battles. Understanding this gave Marcus the power to stay calm, even in the face of betrayal. And that's the first clever Stoic strategy for dealing with toxic people. Detach emotionally and observe objectively. Think about it. When someone insults you, it feels personal, right? But Stoicism teaches us to pause and ask, why is this person acting this way? Is it really about me? Or is it about them? For example, imagine you're at work and a coworker keeps criticizing you in front of others. Feels hurtful, but take a moment and ask, what's driving this behavior? Are they insecure about their own performance? Are they trying to make themselves look better? When you detach from the emotion and observe the situation as if you're an outsider, it's easier to see the truth. And often, that truth is simple. Their toxicity is a reflection of their inner struggles, not your worth. This isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about protecting yourself. Because when you realize that their negativity isn't really about you, it loses its power over you. You don't have to take it personally. You don't have to let it ruin your day. And here's another important point. Toxic people often look for reactions. They want to see you get upset, frustrated, or angry because it gives them control. But when you respond with calm observation instead of emotion, you take that control away. You become unshakable. This is what the Stoics called living in accordance with nature. It means accepting that some people will be difficult, but but choosing not to let them disturb your inner peace. So here's a challenge for you. The next time someone says something hurtful or behaves in a toxic way, don't react immediately. Instead, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what's really happening here? Is this about me or about their own inner struggles? This simple question can change everything. It turns frustration into understanding and anger into control. It gives you power not over them but over yourself. And that's the power that Stoicism is all about. Because at the end of the day, you can't control other people's actions, but you can control how you let them affect you. You can choose to stay calm, composed, and free from the chains of their negativity. And that's how you start mastering the art of dealing with toxic people, by understanding them first, and by realizing that their darkness doesn't have to dim your light. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into controlling what you can, and how mastering your reactions can completely disarm a toxic person. Stay with me. Way number 2. Control what you can. Have you ever noticed how toxic people love to control the room? They feed off reactions. They poke, they prod, and they push your buttons just to get a rise out of you. Why? Because when you react emotionally, they feel powerful. They feel in control. But here's the truth that Stoic philosophy teaches us: you can't control them, but you can control how you respond. Think about it. You can't change someone's bad attitude. You can't make someone kinder or less toxic. But you can control how you let their actions affect you. That's where your true power lies. The Stoics called this focusing on the dichotomy of control, knowing what's within your power and letting go of what isn't. Let me give you a real-world example. Imagine you're at work, and there's that one coworker who always seems to have something negative to say. No matter what you do, they're critical, dismissive, or even sarcastic. It's like they're waiting for you to snap so they can feel superior. Now, in that moment, you have two choices. First, you can react. You can argue, defend yourself, or let their negativity ruin your day. But that's exactly what they want. They want to pull you into their chaos. Or second, you can control your response. You can stay calm, smile, and move on. You can choose silence. You can choose strength. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You see, the Stoics didn't waste energy on things beyond their control. They focused on mastering their emotions, their thoughts, and their actions. They believed that when you control your response, you control the outcome. Not in the sense that you control what happens, but in how it affects you. So, how can you put this into practice? It starts with mastering your reactions. The next time a toxic person tries to push your buttons, pause. Take a breath. Don't rush to defend yourself or prove a point. Instead, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Will reacting change anything? Most of the time, the answer is no. So choose silence. Or better yet, respond with calm curiosity. Say something like, "That's an interesting perspective," and move on. This simple response shows that you're not emotionally hooked. You're in control. And trust me, there's nothing more frustrating for a toxic person than realizing they can't control you. Here's a little mental exercise that helps. Imagine yourself as a rock in a river. The water, representing the toxic words, can rush and crash all at once, but it can't move the rock. Can only flow around it. Be that rock. Solid. Unshaken. And it's not just about staying calm in the moment. It's about training your mind every day to be stronger. That's why the Stoics practice something called premeditatio malorum, imagining worst-case scenarios to prepare their minds for anything. So ask yourself, what's the worst this toxic person can say to me? How would I respond if I were my calmest, strongest self? Visualizing this prepares your mind and makes it easier to stay composed when it really happens. But here's another thing to remember. Controlling your response doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean accepting bad behavior. It means choosing your battles. It means deciding when to speak and when to walk away. When you respond with calm and control, you protect your energy. You protect your peace. And sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. Because when you refuse to play their game, you take away their power. You remind them, and yourself, that they don't control you. So remember, control what you can, your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. Leave the rest. Because as the Stoics believed, true freedom isn't about controlling the world. It's about controlling yourself. And that is how you win. Way number 3. Set boundaries like a Stoic. Let me ask you something. Have you ever dealt with someone who constantly pushes your buttons? Someone who drains your energy, crosses the line, and makes you feel guilty for wanting distance? Maybe it's a friend, a coworker, or even a family member. You try to be patient, but every interaction leaves you feeling worse than before. Here's the truth. Toxic people don't just walk into our lives. They stay because we let them. And while we can't control their behavior, we can control how close we let them get. This is where setting boundaries becomes your greatest tool. Not walls that isolate you, but healthy, clear boundaries that protect your peace. Now, Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius believed that protecting your inner peace is one of the greatest duties in life. They understood that life is too short to be consumed by negativity and unnecessary suffering. And when it comes to toxic people, boundaries aren't just an option, they're essential. So how do you set boundaries without feeling guilty or coming off as rude? Let me break it down for you. First, recognize your emotional limits. You know that feeling when someone starts complaining endlessly or criticizing every little thing. That sinking sensation in your gut? That's your emotional boundary being crossed. Listen to that feeling. It's your mind's way of telling you that enough is enough. The Stoics would say, don't allow what's outside of your control to disturb your inner peace. And that includes other people's negativity. So when you feel your patience wearing thin, that's your cue to step back. Politely but firmly. You can say something simple like, I understand you're going through a lot, but I need some time to focus on myself. Or, I'm not in the right space for this conversation right now. Simple, direct, no drama. Second, set physical boundaries. You don't have to answer every phone call. You don't have to reply to every message. You don't have to meet up with someone who drains your energy just because they expect you to. Think about this. Would you open your front door to someone who brings chaos into your home? No, right? So why open your emotional door to them? If you're constantly feeling exhausted after meeting a certain person, it's okay to limit your time with them. You don't need an excuse. Just say, I have a lot on my plate right now, but I'll reach out when I can. That's enough. You're not being cold, you're protecting your space. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if they get upset? What if they think I'm being mean? Here's the Stoic answer to that. You are not responsible for how others feel about your boundaries. You're only responsible for setting them with kindness and respect. If someone respects you, they'll understand. And if they don't, well, that says more about them than it does about you. And here's something important to remember. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. If you keep letting toxic behavior slide, people will keep crossing your boundaries. But the moment you start saying no, the moment you start protecting your peace, people will learn to respect it. Think about Marcus Aurelius. He ruled an empire, faced wars, betrayal, and constant political pressure. Yet, he didn't let anyone disturb his inner calm. He understood that his mind was his fortress, and he guarded it fiercely. If he could do it in the chaos of Rome, you can do it in your daily life. Here's a practical exercise you can try today. Take a moment to reflect on who drains your energy. Write down their names and think about how you feel after interacting with them. Then, write down one small boundary you can set, whether it's limiting your conversations, declining invitations, or simply being less available. And when the time comes to enforce that boundary, stand firm. Don't over-explain. Don't apologize for protecting your peace. Because at the end of the day, if you don't guard your energy, no one else will. Remember, setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's an act of self-respect. And in the words of the Stoics, he who has peace within is truly free. So guard your peace, set your boundaries, and let toxic people know your inner world is off limits. Way number 4, practice indifference. Toxic people are everywhere. They love to criticize, point out flaws, and make you feel small. The problem is, we often give them the power to affect us emotionally. They make their judgments and we react. But what if we didn't? What if we could stay completely indifferent to their opinions? That's where Stoic philosophy comes in. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, believe that nothing external, no matter how much it stings, has the power to harm us unless we allow it. The key idea here is to practice indifference, not in the sense of not caring about anything, but in how we deal with other people's behavior. Toxic people love to get under your skin, but the Stoics understood that it's not the things that happen to us, but how we react to them that truly matters. Think about it. How often do you find yourself getting upset by someone's rude comment or hurtful behavior? That frustration, anger, or sense of injustice you feel is a natural reaction. But the Stoic response is different. Instead of reacting emotionally, you pause and ask yourself, does this person's opinion actually affect my value? Does it change who I am or what I stand for? The answer is simple: no, it doesn't. By practicing indifference, you're not being cold or indifferent to the world around you. Rather, you're choosing to keep your inner peace intact no matter what happens. This is a skill. It's about developing the ability to detach from the chaos outside and focus only on what you can control: your thoughts, your emotions, and your responses. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great in theory, but how do I actually do it? It starts with a shift in mindset. When you feel yourself getting triggered by someone's toxic behavior, remind yourself, this person's actions have nothing to do with my self-worth. Toxic people often behave out of insecurity, jealousy, or personal problems. Their negativity reflects their inner turmoil, not your reality. By acknowledging this, you can start to detach emotionally. A simple yet powerful Stoic practice is to visualize negativity bouncing off you. Imagine those harsh words or unfair judgments hitting you, but instead of sticking, they simply fall away. This image can help you maintain your composure, no matter what others throw your way. Another effective method is to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Stoicism teaches us that empathy is a powerful tool for building understanding. When someone acts out, instead of responding in anger, try to understand where they're coming from. Are they struggling with something internally? Are they projecting their own fears or frustrations onto you? Understanding this doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can make it easier to respond with indifference rather than reacting out of anger. The more you practice indifference, the more powerful you become. It's not about ignoring people or pretending they don't exist. It's about not letting their words or actions control your emotions. By practicing indifference, you gain the freedom to live according to your values, unaffected by the negativity of others. So, the next time a toxic person tries to bring you down, remember the Stoic lesson. You are in control of how you respond. Don't let anyone steal your peace. Be indifferent to their attempts to provoke you, and you'll find that the power to stay calm and grounded is entirely in your hands. Way number 5. Strengthen your inner fortress. As we face toxic people, the most important thing we can do is build and strengthen our inner fortress. You see, Stoicism teaches us that no one can truly harm us unless we let them. The challenge isn't the toxic people around us. The challenge is how we choose to respond. Imagine yourself as a castle, surrounded by walls. The people who try to bring you down are like arrows aimed at your fortress. If your walls are strong enough, those arrows won't hurt you. They'll just bounce off. This is the essence of Stoic thinking. It's not about avoiding conflict or pretending the toxic people don't exist. It's about creating a space within yourself where their negativity cannot penetrate. One powerful way to start strengthening this inner fortress is by practicing daily reflection. Think about your day, your interactions, and the moments when you were upset. Ask yourself, why did this person's words affect me? What can I learn from this experience? By reflecting every evening, you begin to understand your emotional triggers and how to handle them better next time. Take, for example, Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers. Every night, he would reflect on his day, what went well, what didn't, and how he could improve. This simple practice allowed him to grow stronger in his character and wiser in his decisions. If it worked for him, it can work for you too. Imagine how powerful it would be to end each day knowing you've grown just a little bit stronger than the day before. This is where journaling comes in. Journaling is a tool that helps you express your thoughts and feelings, giving you a clear picture of what's going on inside. Write down what triggered you during the day. Was it a rude comment from a colleague, a friend's criticism, or maybe an argument with a family member? Write about it. Be honest with yourself. The act of writing helps you release those emotions and start to see things from a different perspective. But here's the secret: when you write about it, you don't just vent. You reflect. You ask yourself how you can approach this situation better next time. What Stoic principle can you apply? Maybe it's the idea that you can't control others, only how you react. Or perhaps it's realizing that their behavior is more about them than it is about you. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to stay calm and composed. Over time, you'll notice a shift. You won't get as upset when someone challenges you. You'll respond, not react. That's the key difference. Reaction is automatic, but response is controlled. It's a skill that you develop through daily practice. Another important aspect of strengthening your inner fortress is learning to say no. This may sound simple, but it's one of the hardest things for many people to do. We feel obligated to please others, to keep the peace. But remember, it's okay to protect your peace. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do when faced with a toxic person is to simply walk away. You don't have to engage in every argument or tolerate every behavior. Protecting your mental and emotional health is more important than keeping others comfortable. So, ask yourself, what would it feel like to let go of the need to please everyone? To create space where you're only surrounded by people who respect you, uplift you, and value your time? This is how you build that inner fortress. It's about standing firm in your own values and not allowing anyone to take away your peace. In the end, the most important thing you can do is to focus on your own growth. As Stoics, we believe that true strength comes from within. No one can steal your peace unless you allow it. By reflecting, journaling, and setting boundaries, you're not just surviving toxic people, you're thriving despite them. And with time, this inner fortress will become unbreakable. Way number 6. Limit engagement, increase focus. Now, let's talk about something really important. How to limit your engagement with toxic people and, more importantly, increase your focus on the things that truly matter in your life. This is a crucial part of dealing with negativity, because the more you focus on what's positive and productive, the less power toxic people have over you. In today's world, we are constantly surrounded by distractions. Social media, toxic conversations, and endless debates can easily pull us off track. But here's the Stoic truth: what you focus on grows. When you engage with negativity, you're feeding it. It's like giving a fire more fuel. The more attention you give to toxic people or situations, the more they will drag you down. And when you step back and focus on the things that lift you up, your goals, your personal growth, your peace of mind, that's where real change happens. Now, think about the last time you found yourself in a conversation that went nowhere. Maybe it was a toxic friend complaining nonstop or a coworker gossiping about everyone. You start listening, and before you know it, you're sucked into the negativity. Maybe you even felt your mood drop, your energy drain, and your time wasted. Sound familiar? Here's where Stoicism can truly change the game. Stoics believe in the power of choice, and that includes choosing where you put your energy. You get to decide whether you want to engage in a toxic conversation or simply walk away. And walking away doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, it's a sign of strength. You're choosing to protect your peace and direct your focus towards something far more valuable. One simple but effective strategy is to redirect conversations. Next time someone starts dragging you into gossip or negativity, try shifting the subject to something more neutral or even positive. For example, if someone starts criticizing someone else, you can calmly say, "I'm not really into talking about others. What's been going well for you lately?" Or, if someone's complaining about work, you might say, "I hear you, but I've been focusing on improving my skills lately. What are you working on that excites you?" This shift not only changes the direction of the conversation, but also shows that you're not willing to get caught in the negativity trap. But sometimes, no matter how much you try to redirect, the negativity keeps coming. In those moments, it's okay to simply walk away. Don't feel guilty about removing yourself from a toxic situation. This is your life, and you have every right to protect your emotional space. If someone is being draining or disrespectful, leave. Whether it's a conversation that's making you feel bad or a gathering where the vibe just doesn't feel right, know that you have the power to exit. It's not rude, it's self-care. And here's another trick. Limit the time you spend around toxic people. The Stoics knew that our environment plays a huge role in shaping our mindset. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, you'll start to internalize it. So, take a step back and evaluate your social circle. Do you really need to be around those toxic people all the time? Maybe it's time to distance yourself a bit. Focus more on the people who uplift and inspire you. Remember, this is all about finding balance. You don't have to cut people off completely, but you do need to take control over how much of your time and energy they get. By focusing on what truly matters to you, your goals, your growth, your well-being, you can drown out the noise of toxicity and start to thrive. So, in the end, the key is to starve the toxicity. Don't engage, don't entertain, and don't give it your power. Instead, feed your focus on the things that move you forward. And by doing that, you'll not only deal with toxic people, you'll rise above them. Way number 7. Learn to accept what you can't change. Now that we've covered some powerful tools to deal with toxic people, there's one final piece of wisdom that every Stoic would agree with, and that is accepting what you cannot change. Think about the times you've encountered a toxic person, whether it's someone constantly criticizing you, making you feel small, or draining your energy. In those moments, it's easy to feel frustrated or even angry. You want to change them. You want to make them see things your way. But here's the truth. You can't change anyone. Not their attitudes, not their behaviors, and certainly not their mindset. Trying to do so only leaves you feeling exhausted and upset. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism can truly transform the way you handle toxic people. Imagine this. You're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. You're frustrated, your heart's racing, and you're cursing the slow-moving cars. But no matter how hard you try to will the cars to move faster, nothing changes. You are simply wasting your energy fighting something you can't control. Sound familiar? This is exactly what happens when we let toxic people get to us. We want them to change, we try to convince them, argue with them, or give them pieces of our mind, hoping they'll listen. But at the end of the day, they remain the same, and we're left feeling frustrated, drained, and angry. That's why accepting what you can't control is one of the most freeing Stoic practices. Think about this for a second. What if, instead of trying to change the toxic person, you simply accepted that they are who they are? By doing so, you take back the power they've been holding over you. When you stop expecting them to change, you free yourself from the emotional tug-of-war. You can move forward without feeling bogged down by their negativity. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, believed that the key to true peace of mind is accepting the things that are beyond your control. It's the realization that you don't have the power to force someone else to act or think a certain way. The only thing you can control is your own reaction. Let's break this down. Let's say you have a family member who always belittles your achievements, constantly making you feel less than. It's easy to feel hurt and want to retaliate, isn't it? But here's a thought. What if you simply accepted that this person's behavior is a reflection of their own issues? It's not about you, it's about them. By accepting that their actions are not your responsibility, you shift your mindset from one of conflict to one of understanding. You no longer take it personally. You see their actions for what they are, empty words coming from someone who is likely dealing with their own insecurities. And in that realization, you find peace. This doesn't mean you let them walk all over you. No, you still set boundaries and maintain your peace. But you do it from a place of acceptance, not frustration. You acknowledge that they are who they are, and that's something you cannot change. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can move on with your life without carrying the weight of their toxicity. So next time you encounter someone toxic, remember this Stoic wisdom. You don't have to change them, you just have to accept them. Accepting what you cannot change gives you freedom. It allows you to live your life without the constant worry about what others think or say. And most importantly, It gives you the power to protect your peace, no matter who is trying to disturb it. Take a deep breath and remember, you are in control of your peace, and that is something no toxic person can ever take away from you. So, I ask you, are you ready to accept what you can't change and move forward with strength? Let me know in the comments how this mindset shift could change the way you deal with toxic people. And there you have it, 7 clever ways to deal with toxic people, all rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Remember, the key isn't about changing others, but about mastering yourself. By practicing detachment, setting boundaries, and staying focused on what truly matters, you can protect your peace and stay strong, no matter who's trying to bring you down. So take these lessons to heart. Start applying them today, and watch how your interactions with toxic people transform. You deserve to live a life of peace, free from unnecessary drama and negativity. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments which Stoic strategy resonated with you the most. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos on how to live a better, more peaceful life. Share this video with someone who might need this reminder. And remember, the power to stay calm and centered is always within you. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and keep living with purpose.